What small little thing can enrage you? When people shut my door, but it closes where it doesn't click in and just slowly opens up again. My wife and son both do this when they use the bathroom. Then they complain when the dog lets himself in. I never knew closing a door fully was that hard to figure out. I've noticed that I have to lock the door, not just close it now, because with everyone isolated in my house, I guess we just walk into bathrooms now without knocking. My parents get mad at me if I lock the bathroom door, and it's stupid because it's like you shouldn't even know the door's locked because I had to tell you whenever I use it, or you're like, W, here you going? You okay? This sounds like suffocatingly controlling parents. Yeah, I hate quarantine. I'm glad I have enough to eat, a place to sleep, although I can never fall asleep anymore, access to school and a few means to exercise, but quite honestly I'm slowly going insane. Okay. If you do need someone to talk to stay occupied, my DMs are open. More importantly, if it gets to a point where your mental health gets seriously compromised, there are hotlines out there, and they still get operated. How good that support is depends on the country you're from, but even if it's just a brief chat support, it can point you to further resources more effectively than I ever could. Unexpected item in bagging area. It's not unexpected, you digital duck. You literally just told me what it is. It's right there on the screen. I did the wavy wave, you did the bleepy bleep, up until the point where you decided to have an electronic stroke. Things were going exactly according to plan. What you mean is that you haven't been programmed right. Don't go putting this on me, like I've somehow gone out of my way to surprise you. I've got places to be, man. I can't be playing hide the actual salami with the Terminator's younger, sure cousin. Oh, and now you've sent for backup. Well done. Now I have to deal with a human person who thinks I'm either an imbecile or a thief for not being able to work what's effectively a bathroom scale with delusions of grandeur for the fourth time. I worked as a cashier for years while in high school and college, and I ducking hate those self-checkout systems. They're slow, and as you point out, ridiculously bad at doing the job. Also, you made me laugh harder than I have all day. Thank you. And they're made immeasurably worse when someone who is unfamiliar with them tries to use one. It's like they're attempting to perform a mournful interpretative dance while encased in viscous cement up to their necks as they try to figure out this technology. People blocking the pavement/sidewalk. X2 if they are walking slowly, X3 if they are a group of 3 or more friends walking in a line, X10 if they are a group of friends walking slowly. I had the trifecta the other day, plus one of them blew his nose onto his hand and wiped it on his jeans, and also plus they kept spitting on the ground. I couldn't get around them without getting too close, so I was stuck behind them. Or when it's one person walking slowly in front of you and you want to pass them FE from the left side, and when you are almost there they go to the left and keep walking from left to right in front of you. Someone asking me to calm down when I'm already calm. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point, and I get all mad trying to explain that I'm not mad. My friend always does that. It makes me mad. Like, can you hand that over to me? W, hi, just do it. Why you just hand it over? See, I'll do W and ah. Similar, my BF sometimes asks me what's wrong when nothing's wrong, and then I get upset trying to explain that nothing is wrong. Apparently my thinking face look exactly the same as my pee-off face. People getting in the train without letting other people getting out first. Elevator in my case. Or when you get on a train in a group of 4, and there is a single person taking up a whole one of the tables with 4 chairs around it. Chairs? Check out fancy chair train guy over here. Trains? Check out this fancy public transportation guy over here. Littering. Seriously, how hard is it to avoid? In German we have a word for people who do that, Hurensohn. In America we call them a-holes. Fun fact, the slogan "Don't Mess with Texas" began as an anti-littering campaign in 1985 targeted at bubbas in pickup trucks who littered beer cans out of their vehicles and ordinary Texans who believed that littering was a God-given right. And I would have thought it had to do with guns, cattle or belt buckles. Wow, this thread has made me realize how many things I didn't consciously know I hated. People who scream for no reason. Let me generalize, people who are loud for no reason. The quiet is nice, I don't need you to shout something in my face when it isn't urgent and we're in an otherwise quiet location. My parents are like this. We're at a nice, quiet restaurant, nobody else needs to hear about my uncle's foot odor problem, but I guess they do now. My little brother went away to college and loved in a frat house the whole time. I love him, but when he moved back home his inside voice was 5 notches higher. More than once I have caught myself shushing grown-ass adults that I don't even know well because they're so loud that I go into some kind of autopilot and try to de-escalate the whole situation. My brain is like they're screaming there is something terribly wrong that needs addressing right now. Then when I realize there isn't, my knee-jerk reaction is to be like, dude, shh, calm down, it's okay. Please, just indicate when you're going to turn. Please. It's kind of the law. I'm turning here, how dare you not read my mind? It's not like there's a blinky thing that I can use to warn you. Also, if you're moving into a turning lane, signal before you change lanes, not when you actually make the turn. By that time I already know you're turning because there's nothing else you can do. When I needed to know was back when you suddenly slowed down to get into the turning lane. Abandoned dog poop. But it's never on some side street or back alley, is it? It's in the park where children play and in front of the school stairs. If you don't pick up after your dog, you are a poopy human being. I live in a 3rd floor walk-up, and the other day I came downstairs in the morning to find an enormous pile of dog poop directly in front of the bottom of the stairs. Like in the exact place your foot would land. How the duck do you not pick that up? The other day I found an enormous pile of dog poop like this in the gravel in our front yard. It left me with 2 questions. 1. How the duck you do not pick that up? 2. What kind of dog breed produces this biologically impossible sized turd? I swear someone in my apartment complex owns an actual horse judging from the size of poop that they don't pick up. Walking past a door handle to have your headphones ripped out. Yes, I am poor. Walking past a door handle to have your belt loop snag and stop you dead in your tracks. Door handles. You're not poor for owning wired headphones. You're a financially minded individual who now has more money to spend on more important things, whilst reducing the likelihood of needing to replace your possessions. Being ignored when asking someone something politely. Those who make peaceful requests impossible make violent demands inevitable. People not having the courtesy to be polite to store workers. I hate people like that. They don't even have basic courtesy to say a simple thanks or thank you. The worst is when you see people be actively rude towards store workers who are obviously handicapped in some way. I once saw a man actively roll his eyes at a wonderful young man with Down syndrome who told him to have a good day. A rock in my shoe, even a ducking tiny one. Yep. And a related one too. When I'm wearing ankle socks and they start slipping off of my foot inside my shoe, so I end up wearing it practically on my toes while my heel is naked. Even a ducking tiny one. How small are your shoes? Watching a smoker nonchalantly toss their cigarette butt on the ground or out their car window like it's not really garbage. I don't get where this comes from. I'm a smoker myself, and I'll admit, for years I used to do this. Then one day I was standing outside an entrance smoking, and there was a bin next to me. So when I was finished, I stubbed out the cigarette and threw it into the bin. And it was like an epiphany, why the duck had I not been doing this the whole time? I started noticing the mounds of cigarette butts on the ground outside doors and smoking areas, and it made me really ashamed. Since then I always make a point of chucking the butt in a bin, even if I have to hold onto it for a while I find one. And if there isn't a bin around, I'll just keep it in my cigarette box till I see one. But for years and years, I never used to see it as a problem. I can't explain it, but I think most smokers think the same way. It's like a cigarette butt is somehow different to regular litter, in the same way people will happily spit their gum out on the ground and not care. I think people just don't realize how much it is done. It is a fact that cigarette butts are environmentally toxic and the most littered item in the world, but most smokers are casual about it. When I am busy doing a task I have been said, then being told that wasn't important, you need to do this task now. Only to be yelled at later for not doing the original task. I hate contradicting managers. Or being yelled at by one manager for doing something another manager told you to do. Working retail is great. When a toe decides it wants to embrace a table's leg. A stubbed toe is the opposite of an orgasm. Loud eaters, their face. When did people stop teaching their kids to eat with their mouths closed? Bloody disgusting. Ducking mouth breathers, man. Whoa, out there, I breathe through my mouth, nasal passages have always been too small. And yet, I can still eat like a human being and not a camel. People who stop in the middle of a grocery store aisle to have a conversation with an acquaintance during busy hours. Lack of courtesy for your fellow man is inexcusable. Spent tea bags do not go in the sink. I'm letting it cool off and expel excess water. It's not my fault I got high and forgot I put it there. Just squeeze it against the side of the sink with your spoon, you degenerate. Loud slurping noises when someone eats soup or cereal. Pisses me off. With their mouth open. Stop. I can't take this right now. Already too angry. And putting the milk in first. And they spew droplets on you while speaking with a mouth full. People who always blame other people. Yeah, well, that's your own fault. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. I just want to make enough chicken nuggets that I can get a good boil like this one.